J'ai promis, je vais essayer en parler en français juste un petit peu maintenant. Je suis très embarrassé. Je suis originalement du Canada, mais ma ville Winnipeg, ils sont pas importants pour apprendre à parler en français. Voilà. Je crois que plus populaire pour Ukrainienne ou pour moi Hongrie ou quelque chose comme ça, mais non, pas parler en français. So I'll go back to English now with my apologies, but I hope that if you've joined me here today on Lepus Hockey and you join us here today in Bolzano in the northern hills of Italy for this first quarterfinal match at the Masters Inline World Cup between the real masters of inline hockey right here and an absolutely epic showdown between what should prove to be a masterclass. In fact, that's what I'm going to call this matchup today, a masterclass of technical quality inline hockey. The vast amount of experience and professionalism in European hockey is on display right here. You have, on my right, the Czech Republic, 6-time world champions, frequent holders of the cup, and strong winners last year against a tenacious USA team, versus 2-time World Cup champions, l'équipe de France, who look so strong this year and so organized and technical. Both of these sides have talent in abundance, and so I expect today's match will be maybe one of the best we'll ever see. We're in the quarterfinals now. This is serious. And maybe now the Czech team, who surprisingly lost in the preliminaries to a fighting Switzerland team, maybe didn't quite show up on that day. Tired legs. The heat in the Pala Onda Arena in Bolzano being oppressive and stifling, making legs tired. Dangerous shot there from the Czech defender. Watch very carefully as we see the way the Czechs play. If anyone out there can tell me who they think is a forward or D, just let me know. Because you'll find them not necessarily sticking to their jobs. Everyone's job is the same, and there is no such thing as forward and defense in the Czech team. Just cycling in the washing machine. If you are an aficionado of the beautiful game, then let's just watch, because the Czechs do it almost the most beautiful. Doing a little bit of a stretch now. Always got options. French crashing, building the wall. La ligne Maginot. It stands. No breakthrough. But will the French be able to build a new ligne Maginot against this Czech team who are dangerous, very quick to pick up rebounds, just like that, and the French defense holding, but how long? Team France ideally want to hold on to the puck as much as they can. Their game is possession. If they could, they would play tic-tac, but first they must win the puck in their own defensive zone. They don't. The Czech team too good. But now they can break quickly. French team have extreme pace. They could beat the Czechs in a one-on-one race. So if the French get away, they could do. On the other hand, if the French get under pressure, they might break. The Czechs have deadly accuracy with their shots and deadly power. The gardien de France will feel as though he is under siege today. If you found us, my friends in France, my friends in Czech, then welcome. You're on Lepis Hockey. For today at the Inline Masters, we are here. And thank you to my colleagues for helping me put it together and bringing you this live stream for these quarterfinals and some semi-final matches today. And in the interval, for your benefit, I will try to illustrate the breakdown now of all of the matches that are coming today and when we'll be streaming them. Maybe on the east and west coast of the United States and in Canada now, we might have a few people just still clinging on to the end of the bar, still gripping the bar stool tight and gathering around their phone as France make a concerted attack. Technical hockey as we expected, and getting a shot away. If you guys have stayed up over there, or if down under in Aussie, you guys are just starting your sessions, welcome, welcome, welcome all. Today we're on Lepis Hockey. Tomorrow we go to the full media package of X1 Multimedia, XONE Multimedia, and that'll be for the semis and the finals. And hopefully I'll be able to bring you a little bit of flavor with some exclusive interviews and a bit of extra special stuff for you to really sort of help bring you our lovely little game, this hobby that we've picked up over time. French team trying to break down the Czech defense with some clever passing. Watch how they pass. Nice little toe drag there. This is going to be deadly. Slap shot. Well dealt with by the keeper. Czech team smartly probably content with not wanting to press too high against the French team because that pace will catch them out in behind. France stretching now, going forward in numbers. Oh, dangerous little shot, but the Czech keeper knew exactly what to do with that and just batted it away before it even got to the post. Stopped in the neutral zone. I was going to say mid-ice there, but listen, you know, you can't break the habit of a lifetime. Czechs often doing back passing work, trying to cycle. Czechs putting the laundry in the machine and starting the spin. Maybe electing to take some time for some fresh legs. Not a great outlet pass there actually by the Czechs. Maybe a little bit on the lazy side. And if they'll forgive me, my friends in the Czech Republic, occasionally can the Czech team go a little quiet? Can they switch off? Do they get a little complacent? Maybe yesterday when they played the Swiss team, potentially. In those 2 years when the French team won the World Championships in Anglet, in France, on the Atlantic coast of Biarritz. The Czech team struggled then. Oh, French making a good attack right in front, bobbling pucks, not being cleared by the Czech defense, and the Czech team breaks. Smart slap shot denied by the post only. French keeper must have felt the breeze of that puck fly past his left shoulder and then straight back again in the other direction. The French team, two-time World Cup winners at this level. The Masters inline. This is over 38. And both of those times playing Czech in the final, and the Czech team just not quite turning up for it. And surprisingly, because everything that we've ever known about inline hockey at this level is what the Czech team have taught us. And sometimes taught us harshly. I myself, as a former GB manager, have tasted the bitter pain. Oh, dangerous. Czech team putting together some clever stuff on their attack. But the French keeper absolutely equal to the Czechs. In fact, this year, you'd be hard to pick between the better keeper. Out of the top 8 teams, I would suspect. You've got some real pedigree here, so the battle of the Guardians has truly commenced in the Masters. Who's going to turn up today? Super Czech? Have they switched back on? They looked like it yesterday when they were playing Italy. Looked a little quiet in places, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, doing exactly what they can do, they step up a gear. Czech team always seem to have an extra set of transmission available. Maybe they're a little bit on automatic, but this is an awful lot more standard. French high forechecker doing really well there. Number 16, Desrochers, struggling to just get past the Czech defender, losing the puck and getting it coughed up. Czechs going forward dangerously, showing a little bit of their own pace as well too. Oh, dangerous wrap around it, he found it! He stretched and used his power, and he did find it, and the Czechs, well, that answers my question. They certainly have showed up. The French team have every bit of capability of getting this back here. What they ideally want is some possession time on the puck. That is their best asset, is the passing that they've got. It's so technical, it's so precise, and because of their lack of mistakes, generally speaking, it makes it really, really difficult for other teams to get possession and to get up in front of them and to get physical with them. The Czech team can be physical. They're not as physical as some of the typical North American ice hockey type teams like Canada and the USA. Okay, that's an interesting shout. Once again, in fears, as I've mentioned once or twice before, you need to keep your toothpicks in check. I don't mean the way that that French guy just put his toothpick in check. I mean the way that you're meant to keep your sticks to yourself. The Czech player now just having experienced a little gentle love tap in his jewelry section, seemingly able to skate it off, but in fears and in this competition, referees don't like it at all. Keep your sticks to yourself. We found in the preliminaries quite a bit. The occasional high stick, intentional or not, at any time coming into contact with a bit of the face, that usually ended up in directly sending someone off for the remainder of the game. Just struggling a little bit with the scoreboard here. Our kind volunteers who have been working so hard in this oppressive heat here in the Paolo Honda Arena, in the valley, in between the Dolomite Hills of northern Italy. Second time we've had it here because of the impeccable organization and the efforts and the warmth and hospitality of our Italian hosts and our superb organizer David Ninzati and many others alongside him. An army of volunteers and helpers. Deadly slap shot from the Czechs from up high. French team just holding off the first attack. Dangerous, powerful shots. But the French defender's doing just enough and not wanting to get too tired by chasing a puck. The United States, in situations like this, will often go chasing that and maybe get some results too. But France using discretion as the better part of valor. Czechs passing neatly, very tight. It's close. And the talent there, the no-look pass dipping through the triangle. Great little tip. French team, the defenders, watching carefully, looking for an opportunity to disrupt and not letting the Czechs get into a rhythm. And we could have had a little tip off the referee there. Someone might have just caught that puck. I'll just use the benefit of having a slight delay in the stream. Yeah, I just pinged, off his helmet there a little bit less. But he shook it off. He's all right. I was speaking to the referees yesterday, a couple of little controversies cropping up, as they often do at this level of competition. These gentlemen are no less competitive than they ever have been, having many of them played at quite a high level in their own leagues, IIHF, professional leagues, etc., etc. No less competitive now than they ever were before, and contesting every little inch that they can get wherever possible. So the few controversies that did appear, the referees dealt with it very well, very stalwartly, very professionally. And that's a testament again to the fact that, you know, these referees, again, are just old ex-players, coaches, volunteers, dads, brothers, and friends who have the hardest job in the world. Almost as hard as this French triangle holding off this deadly battering by the Czech artillery. But a lucky little break as the French player nips out of the box cleverly, and the pass is on. And with his fresh legs, decides to use some of his pace. This is dangerous though. Czechs can attack with strength, and their stick handling skills are absolutely sterling. So French team just as good at that. And still testing the Czech keeper, but not really getting into positions where they're able to maybe divide the keeper's attentions from side to side. It's just a bit of solo effort still, trying to use their pace, the French team, a bit. Reasonably evenly matched. The Czech team have gone up by 1 early doors. Still halfway to go in this first period. And the French just doing really well to just disrupt the puck and just get some sticks in occasionally where they can. Ooh, dangerous. That was a little bit unseen by the keeper. Couldn't track it through the forest of bodies in front of him. Some pressure there now. Czech showing some physicality, but not into the boards. And the referee's keen to maybe nip any dangerous rough stuff in the bud. I was saying they have the hardest job in the world, most particularly the referees, because they're so underappreciated. And in fact, the referee that you see out there now, specifically I was speaking to, he's one of the senior referees in this championship. He was speaking to me yesterday and very sensibly looking into some different interpretations of the rules, etc., etc. We had a great conversation, and I made a bit of a promise to him today to just mention how appreciative we are of the referees, and how much and how important it is for us to have them here and willing to do this tough job. Really tough job now by the French. 1, 2, 3, they're all piling up around the goal. This quarterfinal meaning so much to both of these teams. They both might have expected to be in the final. And the Czech keeper had gone down maybe to prevent what could be a standard shot from up above the face-off circles would be on the floor, trying to cover the bottom of the crease, and then the gap opened up. I mean, I could see it from here, so I'm certain the French players could, and bang. Très bien. L'équipe de France, 1. Le public tchèque, 1. I'm really sorry about my French. I was so embarrassed last night. A fellow Canadian, the manager and the team coordinator for Team Canada out here this year, was doing a great job in our general meeting, the meeting that we have every year at the World Cup, interpreting from French to English, while our forefathers and our progenitors, Alain Blanchet and David Inzati, discussed how we're developing the future. More on that later. The future of Masters in Line, and he did such a good job of speaking French, and I'm sorry that I should do a better job of that. So I resolve in front of all of you now to learn better my Italian and my French, to do a good job. And as I speak, the Czech team doing exactly what they can do when under a little bit of pressure. Either ignore it, as they have done sometimes, or respond. They find another gear. And they just stepped up one there. The danger for Team France is that only second gear for Czech? Is this the French top game? Have the Czechs got a third and a fourth? Didn't see it yesterday until the end of the Italian match, which placed Italy in the position where they would play Canada on the other side of the quarterfinal matches, being streamed immediately after this game. It's going to be a very late night in Canada, or a very early morning, whichever you prefer, but I'm hoping that you guys will join me if you're not already there. Those of you who are still propping up, please tune in. Lepis Hockey on YouTube. Oh, here comes that Czech third gear. Every bit the match for the French pace, and the French frustrated, but getting a little tip there now, attacking forward and denied only by the posts. The French team now sort of putting together their attack, using the passing, attacking as a 3. Czech keeper swipes away, any scraps that are in front of him, and the Czech team break. France defending in numbers. I really like the French pattern of play. It's really a clever and distinctive pattern where they use this 3-to-3 transition in the neutral zone. So they'll have 3 defenders that turn into 3 attackers, and the attacking and defending teams split quite widely. Czech team looking dangerous here, stick handling, showing the strength on the puck and starting to cycle. Some big units, these Czech players. You can tell the difference in physicality. The Czech boys looking like they're very well fed. The French guys fit and lean, but maybe not quite as heavy. And that power can sometimes tell, especially in an attritional match like this is very likely to be over time. I mentioned yesterday that I've been the victim of one or two lumps of Czech meat smashing me into the boards. I'm a vegetarian. Killed me. The French uncharacteristically trying to box up in their defense. Penalties called. So the Czech team now have the extra man, waiting patiently. I'm going to try and take this advantage. Czechs taking their time. Solid, dangerous slap shot. Could have got the tip, but the French keeper just absolutely picked it right out of the air. And so the Frenchman will sit. A little bit of holding. It's off the play, so I didn't see it. French keeper number 69, Florent Martin. Keeper, the first keeper for the French team. Quick, lively, mobile, and was perfectly able to snap that puck out of midair to prevent any Czech advantage before the penalty was called. French player in the box now, not very pleased with that call. No one ever is, really. However, a little bit of frustration perhaps showing on the French team. I think that they far prefer it when they've got control of the puck. This is not a position they adopt easily. They don't like it. There's some physical stuff like that into the boards, but he only had one hand on his stick-ish. Maybe the other hand was loosely held or hovering. But the referees right there decided that it wasn't enough. And the physical toll of these Czech units now starting to tell on the French. But that was a really good defensive move. You can just get a little stick check in there and disrupt the pattern. Czech setting up the screen. Dirty slap shot from the side, but managed to get deflected. Possession not lost. This is dangerous. The Czech team, when they're on this power play attack, are very tight. And another outstanding save by Florent. Good morning, everybody. Bonjour. Thanks for joining me. I'm sorry for my French. I'll try and speak clearly, and I hope you can follow me. English being a language that I can just about barely cope with myself. So I hope you forgive me for that. But you are welcome, and I hope that I can provide a little bit of color for you while your boys from the Czech Republic or France try and contest to get into the high side of the finals from this quarter-final match at the Masters Inline World Cup in Bolzano, in the Palonda Arena. The Czech team on a power play and pressing tightly. The French team holding out so far, relying on Florent Martin. Smartly done, denied by the post again. The posts ringing out in this match, like the bells of Notre Dame. Now the French team get a chance a little bit to do what they do best. Number 39, Xavier Bebet. Excusez-moi, Rabé. Looking dangerous with his pace going forward. Czechs absorb and then turn it back, using a little bit of pace of their own. French defense, no breaks. Little tipping puck in front. Comes back to the Czech player in the neutral zone. And the Czechs start this cycle and look for a little bit of fresh legs. Czechs look quick going forward, but they're really struggling to break down. The French defense really holding out very, very well. The Maginot line has returned. Ooh, dangerous. Little bubbling puck just bobbed off the backboards and then came close to the near post. Czech keeper very relaxed. He wasn't worried about it, but it was more dangerous than I think he knew. Some clever little skills by the Czech forward, number 79. Sorry, I don't have a team sheet for Team Czech, so I would go into much more detail about that, but I don't have the resultant information. However, for l'équipe de France, I'm very pleased to say thank you to Monsieur Alain Blanchet, who provided me with all of the information. And as you can hear now, l'atmosphere in the arena is fantastic as l'équipe de France, they bring all of their friends and family and relatives out to cheer them on. This was the case yesterday as well. And so I expect the French, Les Bleus, in full voice today as this quarterfinal match hots up. We're just about to run down the clock for the first period. France on the scoreboard with 1, the Czechs 2. And I think they should be pretty pleased with that because the Czechs look like they've showed up. Really showed up. And that brings us to the interval. Czech team looking like they found their third gear finally, which is a dangerous prospect because, as I've often described before, this is a masterclass of hockey, the way they play. Let me know if you can figure out who's a forward and who's a D. They're interchangeable, intermixed, and they're so dangerous for that. Team France, the technical experts here, their passing and their forward movement in that really nice style where they drift from 3 defenders to 3 forwards through the neutral zone and attack at pace with great stick handling skills and deadly accuracy on their wrist shots. But maybe not getting a chance too much in this game. We said the other day that the French team were looking against like the Slovakian team when they played them. They looked fantastic. They looked absolutely unbeatable, indefatigable. But it was always going to be a bit of a struggle if anyone ever took the puck off them. If the French team didn't get the possession, the chance to kind of build a little bit of momentum with their passing skills. And you can see the Czech team during the interval doing a nice little a tour de Stillmat. I wonder if that's a sign that they're here to win and here to make the difference. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. My name's Pete Wirtz. I'm gently trying to take you guys through a little bit of how I see the games in front of me at the World Inline Masters competition. The brainchild of Monsieur Alain Blanchet, the maestro de l'équipe de France and the generator of the whole of the Masters inline idea right from the very start, way back in the day. We developed ourselves from literally a beer and barbecue friendly international league, a bunch of guys that had played with each other before, either at IIHF or in international championships, maybe together with each other at some professional clubs. And his idea was to get them back together again and get them competing again, but in a very friendly way. And that spirit of competition remains every bit a part of this World Cup, despite the fact that as it grows and grows and grows, it's harder to maintain that. But last night we had our general meeting in which it's got to be said, I was moved profoundly by the earnest expression of passion for this sport and how important it is for all of us to be out here and still representing ourselves, and more than anything else, perhaps acting as a role model for those that have come after us. This feeds through into this principle of developing the veterans side of the competition, which it mustn't be forgotten is occurring over at the next arena next door to us in Merano. In the Merano arena, just down the road in the next little village, not to be forgotten, hosting the Masters Championships. I've got some information here now that I can quickly take you through. So for the benefit of mainly, I think, those European viewers who are wondering about that, particularly the ladies and gents back home in the United Kingdom, at least my home currently. Let me take you through some veterans matchups just now. This morning, GB versus the Czech Republic occurring at 8:30. So maybe the Czech contingent a little quiet this morning because all their chaps are also on the other pitch this morning at the same time. So Czech playing GB and the veterans in Merano. Italy and Canada come together in the veterans just the same as they will do at 10 o'clock. In fact, someone might have thought that they designed that, but Canada v Italy right here on Lepis TV at Bolzano for the Masters. Canada v Italy at 10 o'clock in Merano for the veterans. So it'll be interesting to see if one or the other of those teams manages to inspire the others. We've got at 11:30 in the veterans and Merano, Slovakia versus Australia. The Australians doing really well over there in the vets. And then at 1 o'clock in the veterans, Team USA, just like Canada, bringing a great big contingent at some considerable expense, and we can't tell you how much we appreciate that. USA v France, a bit of a repeat from last year's epic battle, and many of those guys again playing each other, and now in the veteran side as well too. So there is that spirit of understanding and the respect that we show for each other. You know, even the 45s who've been representing this sport for so long and now still working together and inspiring these young chaps out here. And I never thought I'd hear myself say that some guys 38 years old are young. Time marches on. The French in fine voice as their team with possession of the puck faces off for the second period. They've got a goal to make up. Czech 2, France 1. We start the second period. With the Czechs in possession and moving forward. Speculative little tip flies into the nets. Czechs look like they might have found third gear. If they have, things could get tricky. The French need some time on the puck. That's what they need. If they get that, their confidence will be buoyed and they might start to get some legs moving and catch the Czech team a little bit behind. Still have to beat the keeper though, and that is no mean feat. Czech team switching. Forwards become defense. Defense become forwards. Dangerous. It's because of that sort of confusing movement that nobody really realizes that this defender, who looked like he ought to have been turning around the other way, suddenly sneaks into those back posts. And they get into those positions, really dangerous. The Czech team know how to pass all through that traffic. And they'll put one in on the back post almost every time. I know this because it was often right behind my head that they did that. despite everything I ever tried. I just could not follow it. That's probably why I'm stood up here chatting about hockey instead of down there playing it. But we all play our part. So, penalty called against the Czechs. French keeper goes, and now France will get what they want, which is time on the puck. This is potentially dangerous for the Czech team, because what France will do now is play this around, tic-tac, and extend the period of time that they've got to maybe score a goal. No possession there from the Czechs, so the whistle doesn't go. France still working the puck. Dangerous. Czech defenders falling down. Little tip goes through. There's the possession. There's the whistle. And France will have a power play. What will the Czech defenders do? Number 69, Wojski, sitting for the Czech team. Not impressed with the call, but as the Czech team often are, very relaxed about it, very sanguine, takes things in their stride. French team looking bright on this power play. They won't be quite so tight as the Czechs, wanting a little bit of space to pass the puck around. Stick handling, trying to penetrate, finding the right shot, just the right one. Looking for the little gap through the forest, didn't find it. Puck moving around, that's the one. Ooh, that snuck right through, but just got fanned. Another speculative. Puck finding its way through the crease. French team, do they go up high? Le Roquet Richard looking to tee up, testing, seeing if they can make the Czech feet tired, get some calf burn going. Decides against that, takes it round, looking for gaps again, trying to get the Czechs to commit. That was a good pass, no look, dangerous shot. Well dealt with by the keeper as he dives forward and tries to compress that puck underneath his chest. Good hands, the French. Really good hands. French on the power play, facing off in the Czech zone. Czechs really pressing now, using their strength. The puck gets coughed up and the French gain their possession. They've only got 42 seconds left. Is it enough? They'll want to capitalize. Oh my goodness! Do they want to capitalize or what? Gurizio from a killer slap shot. Well high, like almost just maybe inside the blue line. And I think it caught a little tip from the Czech defender, just standing there hoping that it would bounce off him, but it just slightly ricocheted. And then with the aid of the crossbar, the French catch a little fish in the net. And the scores are even at 16 minutes left in the second period in this quarterfinal match between two former world champions, Czech 6-time holders, France 2-time holders. Hockey masterclass on show here, so if you've gotten up early in the UK to watch this, this is the very best example of good quality, European style inline. Technical, busy. and skillful. Number 49, one of the key French players, Monsieur Hostin, Fred. Who's been a key goal scorer at speed, stick handler, and has played for l'Équipe de France for many years. I've played against him, and it's virtually impossible back-checking against a player with that kind of pace and stick handling ability. But this French team is enriched by debutants. Ooh, Czech team attacking there, scrambling. The French keeper gathers. Czechs might slot into another gear now. French team taking a little bit more possession too. Might take something special from the Czechs. It depends on where they go here. Drop the clutch, Martin Mekara, who's on the bench now, a veteran player, and was also, I would say, one of the triumvirate of leaders in the development of masters inline. Martin from Czech Republic, a promoter of this sport at all levels, and a great player as well too, scoring for fun the other day in his veterans match. Now on the bench, orchestrating things for Team Czech. Can he get them to drop the clutch? Dangerous. Lucky. Here we go. France on the attack. Maybe thinking better of just going on their own, but a lucky tip. Maybe a bit of poor decision making in the Czech goal on the reverse attack. And again, using their hockey brain rather than just going run and gun. Okay, let's play around with the puck a little bit themselves, the Czechs. Forwards become defenders, defenders become forwards. Let the confusion ensue. But the French tracking them well. Czechs not really finding anything too quality. Taking a lot of their shots from at the top of the face-off circles. But their strength on the puck, they're not easily dispossessed. But not also finding any gaps. Finding it difficult to penetrate. Here's the cycle. And a good move there. Speculative, keeper well dealt with, but it bounced off of his chest and it snuck in. French player wants the call for the hook. In front. But it wasn't that stopped him from the puck diving underneath. The keeper just couldn't get the mattress down on the floor enough and the puck sneaks in. So, the Czech team, as a result of their patience, maybe stepping up a notch. The French fans and contingents stepping up there, cheering for their team in hopes that they can buoy them up and keep them going with some energy for the next 12 minutes in this second period of the quarterfinal. It's Czech 3, France 2. Monsieur Hostin attacking, shot wide. Puck bobbles out. Czech attack through the neutral zone, turning back, being stick checked by number 27, De France. I walked home from the arena back to the hotel with him last night, and we had a great little chat. He made me promise to try and speak in French this morning. I told him I would give it a little bit of efforts. He said, well, if you do, my friends will laugh. So I hope there's some laughter around the provinces of France, a country that I've spent a lot of time in. And so I have a particular affinity for it, and I can't deny that it would please me, I think, if, of course, I'm completely unbiased, but it would please me if the French did really well here. They were deserved winners of the World Cup when they've won it, and are, along with the Czechs, the very original world inline masters. France now getting a little bit more time on the puck, trying to find gaps. Czechs defending well, transitioning, could be dangerous. French defense, hard slap shot, bounced off the bed. And the French attack with pace. This is where they're dangerous, can move into places. Number 13, Czech defender, sacrificing his body. Dangerous helmet. Florent Martin, 69, il fait des coups de boule to defend that puck, and is now scratching his head. I think he's okay, just probably wanted to take a break. If I haven't mentioned it before, I don't mind repeating it. It's hot. Il fait très chaud. Il fait très chaud dedans l'arena. It's like the jungle. We could be in Guyana. I'm sure there's a French one of those. Just getting some news from over the other side in Merano Arena. It sounds as though, as is usual versus Czech, the GB vets are struggling a little bit. It's currently 9-0. But keep your chins up over there, lads. Keep your chins up. It's always a tough ask via the Czech. And they're great players, even at that age as well, too. I'm gutted that I couldn't play with them this year. I might get the chance to go over and play a little bit at some point for either the world team or, I don't know, I'll just grab a jersey from somewhere and stick my skates on. But it's tricky to find the time. A lot of fixture congestion in this quite short but intense championships. 4 full days stacked, packed and racked with games. And now that we're into the big time, I'll be trying my very best to bring to you as much as I possibly can. This being only just one of 4 total quarterfinals today, and some semis on the high and low side. And I'll give you some instructions on that towards the end of this game. Team France looking good going forward. The sharp, especially if they get the puck under control and break from their end. The pace that they've got and the pattern that they break with is pretty dangerous. This could be an example of it. Ooh, did well there to pick up the puck that he lost for himself. But the Czech team regain possession from their end, move forward as a 3. Fair defense, referee saw that. Got the puck and respectfully everyone sort of shakes it off and plays on. This is dangerous from here. Oh, Czech keeper. No stress. Buried that in this copious amounts of padding, and then we start again from the Czech face-off circle. Can France win this face-off? They get possession and put together something? Yes, they can. Le Rocket Richard has a rocket. Hard enough to knock the stick out of the Czech defender's hands. But the puck falls to them. Dangerous. Crossing pass to the Czech player heading towards the back post. Didn't quite get there. Czechs electing to bring back to the neutral zone and start again. See if they can draw some French players out. France on the forecheck now. Didn't make much of that, the Czech team. And France regained possession in their own end and decide to break out themselves. Here's the 3. Defenders transition. Now attackers 3. Shot from long. Could have got the tip from, I think it's Desrochers, number 13. Let's have a quick look on the team sheet. Yes, 16. Benjamin. French wait patiently for fresh legs. Orlando Corizio setting up, playing with the puck. Crossing pass there through the neutral zone to try and pick up the players. French players at pace, didn't come off. Czechs regain possession. Take a shot, not really getting in close enough to the keeper to disturb them. The French keeper a little bit too good for that. France also struggling to break out properly. Just getting stuck in the neutral zone, so the puck is reluctantly going across the red line. Dangerous passing in front, Czechs can do this. Bobbling puck in behind, Czechs regain possession, attacking the French. And elects to get some fresh legs for themselves, and we'll settle down for a minute. Number 49, Hostin, on the forecheck, keeping the Czechs honest. A little bit of a contact there, a little bit of one-way traffic. Not intentional, I don't think, just playing it hard. But my friend 27 Defense not coming off the better for that. Know what that feels like. And elected to go straight back off and maybe just take a minute to shake his head and recover. The Czech have 3. France have 2. There's still 5.5 minutes left. It's plenty of time for the French to score. But they're going to have to do a little bit extra, I think, to take the puck off of the Czechs, just like that. And now they regain possession and see if they can build and do what they do best. Tiki-tack, play with the puck, move forward, transition. Desrochers just getting caught there a little bit on the boards, trying to use his strength, stick handling skills, movement. Czech defenders equal to it. Little close quarters, mixing it up, passing. There's some pace now. Corizio circling around, trying to look for a crossing pass or a centering pass, but it didn't come off. French still in possession, attacking positions. Oh, centering pass from just behind the keeper. Couldn't get found. This is a centering pass still coming in, down Main Street, little tip, still got possession. This could be dangerous. French team now really on the attack, getting really deep inside close. French now shutting their team on, knowing that in 4 minutes, things could be over. That was a really excellent period of 30 or 40 seconds of attacking play. Très bien. News from the other side. GB Vets 0, Czech Vets 10. It's always tough, guys. Keep your heads up. It's always tough. Did well, GB Vets, the other day, beating the world team. Questions there being asked by the Czech player number 6 about the hold. And he'll sit for high stick. Is this the opportunity that France really need? Patiently waiting. They don't have too long. 3 minutes 31 left. Dangerous crossing pass, that could have gone through. Quick hands. Czechs managed to gain possession away from the French, and will they be able to hold on to it for ages? France have got to forecheck this right off of them soon. Be difficult, it's hard to dispossess a Czech player of the puck. They're strong on it. Sensibly, 2 French players attack. Some pace there. The board's feeling the benefit of a hit. French players claiming that the Czech team are holding on to their sticks. France wanting fresh legs out so that they can zip around and buzz around in front of the Czech team. Czech goal. Amaneto coming in as close as possible, trying something close but tight. And there's another penalty. Maybe just a little bit of lack of breaks there. A bit of roughing. It's dangerous to push them in the boards. So maybe the momentum just lost there for France, and an opportunity not taken to equalize. So important for them to do. In this first of our quarterfinal matches today, it's Friday. In Bolzano, the penultimate day of action, and into the penultimate day of action, we've got the quarterfinals starting with Czech v France, 10 o'clock, Canada v Italy, 11:30, Switzerland v Slovenia, and then at 1 o'clock local time, midday in the UK, 7 o'clock a.m. on the East Coast. It's the United States versus Great Britain, the special relationship being tested. All of those will be on this channel here, Lepis Hockey. Ouch. A little bit of architectural reconstruction of the post by the French bodies. Now throwing everything at it that they can. They've only got 2 minutes 18 left. And in about 30 seconds, they'll go shorthanded themselves. That's the last thing they needed in terms of trying to equalize. But the Czech team kind of, once again, doing just enough and not wanting to stretch themselves too far. Wonder what they'll be like if they get to the final. This is dangerous. Oh, the French team just seemed to sneak in there really quietly, silent but deadly. Now here we go, we've got a 2-on-1. How are they going to put it together? The French can do this. Czechs are 4 on. Oh, he took his time. Just took a tip through, unbelievable. It was a golden opportunity, that goal was on. They just couldn't make it count, and now they go short-handed. For 49 more seconds, 1:25 left. The Czechs doing just enough, ahead by 1 goal. It's 3-2. Are the French going to throw something? Are they going to commit? What do they got to do with 1 minute left? It might be a time to roll the dice here a little bit. Maybe take a chance at coughing the puck up. I don't think they've got time to sit in the triangle. Look, you guys are 1 goal down. Come on, you got to stretch it now. I think they've got the picture. Czechs know smart. They know the game. They know well enough to start drawing some French players out. Ooh, a little bit of tickling each other there. Maybe a committee meeting going to be held instead of playing hockey. It's probably not the time, gents. Perhaps tonight, over a beer, we could discuss it. But with 30 seconds left, the French might have left it a little bit too late. There could be something special here. I don't know about that, but it's going to have to be something special. Maybe they do it, though. They're not quite coughing up the puck. The Czech strength just compressing the puck against the boards. We've got 21 seconds left. But the French do regain possession in 17 seconds. It's going to have to be extra special now to be able to put themselves back into contention. 10 seconds. French possession in behind. They lose it. They don't quite get it off. They couldn't do it. 4 seconds to take the shot. The keeper pulled. And that's it. They couldn't do it. And the Czech team once again, as has been proven many times in these World Championships, they know exactly how much to push, and then they just do that enough. And they just did that enough right here and then. They don't look like they're running around at the ragged edge. They don't look like they're pushing themselves to their limit. The French team at the last there, absolutely on the ragged edge, doing everything they could to try and create something, one last chance to redeem themselves. But this Czech team has just got a little bit too many layers of class to be defeated. And what looked to me at the beginning of these preliminary rounds to be an absolutely unbeatable French side seemingly require a lot of space and time on the puck to be able to really make their magic count. The Czech team able to close it down and frustrate the French, maybe a bit with their physicality. And the French team reminding their players that how much they appreciate them playing so well. The two-time world champions will have to wait another year before they get their hands on that trophy again. And maybe again disappointed with placing lower than they thought they could. They brought a really strong side here and had high expectations. I did. If we go by the first couple of matches I saw them play, I'd have pipped them for the championship. But the Czech team doing exactly what they need to do. Clicking up a gear right when they need to and not before. Fantastic. Well, a very entertaining match, full of technical expertise and skills and stuff like that. And I think they both played fantastically well. We'll soon see how the Czechs respond to more competition. Okay, while we're here, let me tell you a little bit about how these quarterfinals are going to break down here on the Masters side. And then when I get a minute today, if I get a break, I'll fill you in on the veterans and tell you how things are going over there and where we're developing. But I can take my little sticker board that I created, thanks to the print shop at work for helping me out there. We can take France and we can move them down to the low finals. So they'll play in game 37 versus either Switzerland or Slovenia. The Czechs, winners of this first quarterfinal match, move up to the high final. the high semi, or the high part of the finals, into game 39. And they will play the winners of Switzerland and Slovenia. The next matchup, if anyone from the big country has tuned in, then the next matchup is going to be in about 10 or 15 minutes between Canada and Italy to decide the other half of the semi-final draws and which one of those teams is going to move up into the high and down into the low finals. And then at 1 o'clock local time, midday for the Brits, breakfast time in New York, kicking out time at the beach rave and California coast will be the special relationship between USA and Great Britain to join either Canada or Italy in the top and bottom half of the final board. On the plate competition, we have our runners up. Australia versus Germany, which will be played here in Bolzano. And I will do my best to try and take you guys through that as well. I'll need to take some time to have a rest today at some point and take a break so that I don't ruin my voice for the finals tomorrow. But we will have at least some of, if not most of, Australia versus Germany in the plate competition. The other side of which will be played over in Merano, Slovakia v Hungary. Over now on to the vets. So I can tell you that we have Czech v Great Britain, Italy v Canada, Slovakia v Australia, USA v France. Currently, GB have just finished playing Czech. And it's very likely, although not conceivably impossible, that GB could have won that. I broadly speculate that the Czechs might have come through that. The score that was last posted by the GB manager, CZE, on the GB Vets website is GB Vets 0, Czech 10. So I'm going to assume at this stage that perhaps they've gone through. So if I take my little sticker board, GBV Czech in the Vets, so that means that GB will now go down to Veterans Game 25. I can tell you when that's going to be over in Merano. The Czechs will move up. Where's their sticker? Czechs move up into the high finals for the veterans. Czechs will play in that semi-final, game 27, and GB will play in the low semi, game 25. I can tell you that game 25, so that's GB Vets, will be playing at approximately 3 o'clock this afternoon, local time, so 1500 hours local time. So 2 o'clock this afternoon, GB Vets playing, and I'll determine who they're going to play against a little bit later. I'm going to go take a little coffee break, soothe my voice, Get a little brandy down me, and I'll pop back in just a moment for the other side of the big quarterfinals. Canada expects, the hosts anticipate. I shall return.